So Asian buffets can be some of the wildest places on the planet. Let me tell you a story. Yes, this is just story time over some Fortnite gameplay. Subscribe to the Red Lightning channel today. So recently, I went to an Asian buffet in Paris. More specifically, the Asian Quarter, where all the Asian restaurants are, because Paris has a bunch of quarters which are culturally divided. Anyway, it was bonkers, and I decided to make a video about it. So the story begins before I even enter the buffet. The restaurant outside looks small cell, but I can tell you right now, it's not. So I entered, and it was already packed. And this was 5 minutes before opening, keep in mind. They let us in because there was like 50 people standing outside the restaurant in the cold. Anyway, and this buffet, as I said, was in Paris. And French people, in my experience and opinion, are not the nicest of people. So that means the line was super. There was no clear line. You couldn't tell who's in front and who's in back. And what makes it worse is that there were people trying to cut the line. There was people who were pissed that people cut the line. And it was a complete free-for-all. Until the angry chef came and cleared things up and threatened to kick people out if they don't start behaving. Including us, even though we didn't do anything. I'll tell you more about the chef later because he is a legend. But after 15 minutes of waiting, we got in. And let me tell you, it was like stepping into a whole new world. It's like that feeling you get when you step into a shitty place, but then in the inside it's like a 5-star mansion. The hall was big, the food looked amazing, it smelled amazing, everything was just amazing. Even the decorations. I mean, they had chandeliers that looked like dildos. It was beautiful. Anyway, we got seated at our table, and then I realized I didn't have a napkin. They had forgotten a napkin on my table. Unacceptable. No, just kidding. I asked nicely that I didn't have one in my very broken French because... Oh, that beam, did you see that? Anyway, surprise, surprise, I can't speak French. Anyway, the look on the face of the waitress was priceless. I kid you not, she nervously shook her head up and down, like one of them expressions you pull when you're overwhelmed. She looked like her son got kidnapped and was about to get shot if she didn't comply. She never gave me my napkin, so I took it from the table. Anyway, but we were early apparently, because as we arrived, I kid you not, a big ass Sri Lankan family, I'm talking like 20 people plus, walked into the restaurant and clogged up the line. And as I described as before, it wasn't as structured and clear. Anyway, moving on to the highlight, the food. Oh boy were there options, from the finest of Asian cuisines to French delicacies, and of course everybody's favorite, chicken nuggets fries. Wait, what? Okay, surely no one is dumb enough to go to an Asian buffet just to take chicken nuggets and fries with the quality worse than McDonald's at midnight. I mean, the stupidity. You have got to be kidding me. Anyway, I've been to many Asian buffets in my time, and every time the spring rolls, which are my favorite, were always underwhelming. Most of the time, it was just a sad strip of lettuce in some dough put in a deep fryer. But let me tell you, these spring rolls were amazing. They were thick, they were stuffing, but above all, they were delicious. So much so that I took one every time I went to get food, because that's how a buffet works. The rest was fine. There was a ton of seafood and some other things. I don't know what the fuck they are. Honestly, you kind of lose track of your culture. Now, one downside of this buffet is the sheer amount of Asian moms. Anyone who knows why that's a problem, you're a G. But for anyone else, Asian moms can be the most greedy, especially the ones from Paris. Because, well, yes, that should be self-explanatory. A chef brought out a fresh batch of raw fish, which you can get cooked at this so-called grill station. More about that later. But this one mom in particular took half of the fucking batch. And then another one came and took the other half. Now luckily, that didn't happen in front of me. That happened in front of my brother, so tough luck for him. My brother just wanted some grilled fresh fish, but I guess the Asian moms had some different plans. Anyway, remember the angry chef from earlier, that one at the line I told you about? Well, that man ran the entire grill station himself, managing multiple woks and shit. It was impressive watching him work. I mean, he's the inspiration of the video, my god. But the fun begins when he is stressed. You see, when you walk with your shit you want to grill. Hold on, lads, I have to do a sacrificial ritual real quick. This one we call a sacrificial lamb. Sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. Sorry, lads, I got distracted by the sacrificial ritual. Where was I? Alright, grill station. Then you stand in front of the station and wait for him to signal you. There you have 2 seconds, maybe 3 to respond to comply before he gets pissed and cusses you out in Mandarin. And if you miss his signal, you're never gonna hear the end of it. Well then, he aggressively takes your plate and chucks it on the grill. And then you have to stand there and behold his magnificence until your food is done, which he will shove in your hand and tells you to fuck off. Anyway, there was this one Arab guy who complained about his food being undercooked. The chef took it, looked at it, grilled it a bit, and gave it back to him. The food looked fine to me. I don't know what the Arab guy had, but he was still complaining. So you know what this Asian chef does? He pulled the plate from the hands of the Arab and fucking burnt his food until it was the blackest of black you can imagine. Then he chucked that on the plate, gave it to the other guy, and told him to fuck off. AG. Now those were the interesting bits and bobs of the restaurant that kinda inspired the video, but one last thing before the video ends. Whenever there's a birthday in my family, I am begging to go there, because when there's a birthday boy or girl, gender equality, all the lights in the restaurant shut off and this cheesy birthday song starts playing. And then they bring out this, what looks like from afar, a ball of fire, which I'm pretty sure is just a cake with some sparkles on it. And then they just stand there and sing happy birthday. Anyway, that was the best experience I ever had in a Asian restaurant. And make sure to watch my other videos. The one where I compared Feasible to Swiss chocolate is pretty good, I heard. And also subscribe because I'm trying to overtake my friends and stuff, so I can have bragging rights. Thank you very much if you enjoyed it. It's the end of the evening. God damn it. How much HP did he have? Are you fucking